I guess if we begin with the obvious, we've got Da Vinci up the end there, and Blackmagic Design just here. So, what's going on?
So, Blackmagic has come in and we've purchased Da Vinci. Obviously, folks that know Blackmagic know that we're a manufacturer of kind of commoditized digital video products. And Da Vinci is a very kind of best-of-breed color correction utility. So you're talking about a merger of two companies that sell into a similar market but are kind of at different ends of the spectrum. What we saw when we saw Da Vinci was a company that had fantastic brand, fantastic technology, great products, but they had been struggling for a few years on a couple of different angles. And when we looked at those angles, we said, that's stuff that we do really well. You know, we do a good job at some of that stuff. So while someone may scratch their head and say, well, why is the guy selling a $200 capture card going to sell a $200,000 color correction? It's not about us trying to make the Da Vinci product become a commoditized product. It is a very different product. It is a very different model, and one we do not intend to change. But there are some synergies there, and there are things that can be done within Da Vinci that can follow some of Blackmagic's overall philosophies without compromising what Da Vinci has been for the past 25 years, which is the top of the top color correction products.
Do you think will some of the at a component level or a manufacturing level, will some of the things that Blackmagic has developed cross over?
I think when we talk about some of those things that were struggled with the Da Vinci, a lot of it was processes.
Yeah.
How do we go ahead and handle even from a conceptual, we're going to build a product. You know, there are things that we can do there that will apply to how Da Vinci moves forward in product development. There's things that we can deal with on supply levels that can be done, which will help in the overall process for Da Vinci. These are the kind of things more than putting a fancy package on it or whatnot that we feel will help overall. We still want to keep the product and the level of customer attention that Da Vinci is very well known for. We still want to maintain all of that great stuff there. But here we are a week later. We've redone a booth. We've redone a website. There's certain things that can become Blackmagic-ized for Da Vinci that we think you have someone that's now working with this company that has the muscle to get things done. And I think before they were kind of a little lost in the situation they were with their parent company,
which was essentially a telco / cable network testing company, weren't they?
Da Vinci had belonged to another company that got purchased by this bigger company, and the Da Vinci was kind of an afterthought to this much larger corporation. So they weren't market specific. They weren't they weren't the right guys to certainly decisions were made that were hard for them to figure out the market space, and they certainly weren't going to be the guys that were going to take where Da Vinci was kind of struggling and be able to figure it out. I mean, the color correction industry has not changed much in 2 decades. You look at most of the other aspects in post-production, video editing, acquisition, delivery. These things have changed radically over the past 5-10 years. Color correction has kind of all been the same. It doesn't mean it changes overnight, but I think there's some great technology that's available to us between this merger that can help with some of that as well.
And what sort of cross-pollination do you think will come out of all of this?
I mean, I don't think, you're going to see, you're certainly going to see things like, look, we can put a decklink card into a system and give you video output, but we can still use other people's cards as well. We're not going to just say we want to be exclusively Blackmagic-ized. We still want to maintain relationships and partnerships. We want to have customers be able to have choices as well. So I think it's not going to necessarily be that suddenly, we've got something from the Blackmagic thing pollinating throughout the Da Vinci brand. I think I think the bigger thing is, you have this great software, you have these fantastic panels. None of that has to change. That is all fantastic. How we market it, how we sell it. Some of these things can be tightened up a little bit so that we are, for those customers that, live in this very high-end world, we can basically be better partners for them. So we're really looking forward to getting that underway.
Now, the Blackmagic, the post-production house in Singapore, is still part of the fold? And
absolutely.
Yep.
So it's funny because, a lot of people know about Blackmagic as a manufacturing arm, but one of our founders started a very successful post house, become a very successful post house in Singapore. And of course, the way we got down this path is the fact that they had actually bought two of these systems, and they bought them because they were fantastic systems. And in dealing with that, they started finding small things that, as you do with any purchase, small things, questions, why is this that way, why is this that way, and through those discussions I kind of found out that some things were semi-handicapped because of the situation that Da Vinci was in, and, they're for sale. Oh, well, wait a minute, what was that? Because actually, as a company that is growing, and has a strong background in that post-production market, we can instantly see the value. And the more we looked at it, the more we can see where that fit can make sense.
Yeah.
It's not that the product and the product make, we're not going to try to put the square peg in the round hole, but the philosophies that we can go ahead and instill into a Da Vinci brand that can make it a much stronger company going forward. So it's all been very fast, but we've got a very strong plan to make a long-term strategy for Da Vinci.
All right. Sorry.
No problem.
And so what's new and great this time?
There's nothing
new.
I mean, right now we're showing some of the technology that we've been using and that we've had here with Da Vinci. We're not trying to change some of this current stuff. What we have done is we've done things like we're no longer going to sell our 2K product. It's a product we've had around for a long time. We want to be able to support those products. We still have parts for them, but that's a 10-year-old system, and we want to be able to further support those guys by having the knowledge around, having the parts around. But it's not going to be part of our marketing activities, and on our, we want to focus really now on our Resolve product line, our Revival product line, and of course the panels that we're using.
And what about a 4K strategy?
Yeah, we have one.
Okay.
Yeah, there's certainly things in the mix right now. Right now, it's kind of about prioritizing some things along the way. So, right now, obviously, our 2K products are fine, and we have these wonderful 3D products as well. So right now, we just have to prioritize some of the things that how needed are things, how quickly can we get things done. Obviously, there's a lot of shifting puzzle pieces right now. So we're kind of digging through some of that stuff and figuring out the order of the long-term game plan.